I'm Doug Shoemaker. I'm the president of Mercy Housing California. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone this morning. I feel a little silly welcoming everyone to a place that's somebody else's home, but I'm going to do it anyway. It's really a fabulous day. I know many people here have been involved with this for many, many more years than me, and this is a really exciting day for everyone. This has been a long time coming, and I hope you agree with me that it just turned out more fabulous than anyone could have imagined. I can't believe how mature the garden and the trees and just everything looks so fabulous. And these, well, you can't see anything behind me except this wonderful banner, which hasn't grown at all. So I hope you're settled in. You get a glass of water. If you don't, you might want to get one. We have a long but illustrious group of speakers, all of whom I'm sure are going to, say something short because of the heat. There are a lot of folks here that I'm going to recognize as I go through. I do want to just say that one of the most fabulous things about joining Mercy Housing, which I only did 3 years ago, is that I get to work at this place that so many people did so much to build. And you get to come out to these fabulous openings that you yourself actually did nothing to do. I'm not taking credit for it. It's just a fabulous experience. And there are just so many people here, starting with the sisters, but also many of the staff that are still on staff, and then a lot of alumni that are here. And just to recognize a few as we go through, I do want to acknowledge a couple of the RCHC board members, Dorothy Smith, Stan Kiesling, Mercy Housing Board member Jack Diepenbrock is here. And then among the alumni, Stan and Greg Sparks, who many of you know, Sherry Riesler, Lynn McElvary, and a very special new alumni that we've never had as an alumni before, which is Sister Lillian Murphy, who's sitting up here in the front and tells me she refuses to come up, but we're going to acknowledge her anyway. And, no one's done more for this work than Sister Lillian, and so we're just so happy that she's here to join us. We also have another special guest, which is Jane Graff, the president of Mercy Housing, Inc. now, and she's just going to come up and say a few words.
Hello, everyone. I'm not on the program, as you noticed, but Lillian told me I had to speak. And, when Lillian says you have to do something, that's what you do. So, at any rate, this is my first official grand opening as the new CEO of Mercy Housing. And for those of you who've known me in the past, I was Doug. I was the Doug Shoemaker of California, president of this market for many, many years, and was in that role when we started talking about doing this development. This is spectacular because it just brings together the best of Mercy Housing in so many ways. I just want to say thank you to the sisters. Judith is going to speak in a minute, but it's just an amazing combination of vision and the willingness and desire to do what's absolutely the right thing with the resources that the sisters have. That's what this is all about. The land that we're on, of course, is owned by the Sisters of Mercy of the West Midwest, once Auburn, and their vision coupled with ours, and of course our vision is really their vision, because the sisters are the sponsors of Mercy Housing, and they bring that that incredible thinking that only sisters can do to the work we do all across the country. And so I want to acknowledge their unbelievable support and continued visioning with Mercy Housing. This is the work of the sisters. And when it comes together like this, you can't think of anything that we could have ever done that could have been any better than this. So take it from me, this is as good as it gets. And when you go through and you see the development and the beautiful apartments and all the wonderful features, we'll all want to get on this wait list, that's for sure. So I'm incredibly proud to be able to be here today and to thank the sisters in particular and all the others that put this development, to make it a reality. I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I hope that this is an example of what we can do in many other places with all of our sister communities that sponsor Mercy Housing across the nation. So thanks to all of you, the sisters of the West Midwest. And with that, I'm going to introduce to you Sister Judith, who is the head, I don't know what the exact title is it president? Vice President of the Sisters of Mercy of the West Midwest community. She comes to us today from Omaha. So maybe she gets the prize for coming the furthest. I'm not sure. We'll have to check. But we're really delighted that she would take the time to come. That's how important this is to the sisters. So, Judith, please.
Good morning. We're here today to dedicate and bless McAuley Meadows. In a sense, this brings us all full circle, and myself included, because I was present here on September 27th, 2012 for the groundbreaking for this beautiful building. It was another hot day that day. But as early as 2006, the Auburn Sisters of Mercy began conversations regarding the future use of this property here at 535 Sacramento Avenue because of a number of changes. Mercy Center continued to expand as a retreat and conference center. The sisters had discontinued raising cattle on this very land, which for many years had provided beef for the use in the house. And there were inquiries from various outside groups regarding possible uses of the hill. So in 2007, the sisters underwent an extensive master planning process for the entire campus. We were clear that we did not want the property used for commercial purposes. And it was our wish that the property be compatible with the mission and the vision and the values of the Sisters of Mercy, including unmet needs. The leadership team established some overall criteria, which included that the land be sustainable environmentally, physically, financially, managerially, with an emphasis on land preservation. And so the Auburn community gathered to reflect on and to discern over several options, and quickly realized that the development of affordable housing for seniors was most compatible with the retreat center and the desire to preserve a contemplative space here. The leadership team asked Mercy Housing Incorporated to explore the needs for affordable housing in the Auburn area and to present their findings. They discovered that there was indeed a significant need for affordable housing for seniors, and that our site was well suited for such a project. In 2008, Sister Bridget McCarthy, who was then the president and CEO of Mercy Foundation, wrote of the support of this project of Mercy Housing, stating that safe and affordable housing was a critical concern and a good use of resources for low-income seniors, and that the Sisters of Mercy of the West Midwest community, which had just then recently formed in 2008, would stand ready to support this project. But the story of Mercy Housing really began many years earlier with Catherine McAuley in the 19th century in Dublin, Ireland. She was an heiress at that time, and she passionately desired to help those in poverty, especially women and children. Her first ministry in Dublin was to provide safe housing for young women who were employed as domestic help in homes of wealthy families in the city. In 1827, she opened the House of Mercy and invited others to help her in the care of orphans, the hungry, the sick, and the homeless. 4 years later, she founded the Sisters of Mercy. And as they grew in numbers, the sisters traveled to many parts of the world and established ministries in housing and healthcare and education. More than 180 years later, her spirit continues to inspire and challenge her sisters and associates, lay colleagues, and partners in ministry. This new 60-unit apartment property for seniors is built by Mercy Housing on a 3-acre parcel of land that is part of 30 acres purchased by the Sisters of Mercy Sacramento in 1938 as a site for their new mother house. Besides being a home to sisters, it houses Mercy Center and a small orchard, a garden and a labyrinth, walking trails, and many acres of meadowlands. Since the apartments are built in the meadow and overlook meadows to the south and to the east, the name is an appropriate description of a combination of the mission and the location, McAuley Meadows. There is an icon of Catherine McAuley in the lobby of McAuley Meadows, which is being unveiled today. And before you leave to go home, I invite you to take time to go there and to see this work that depicts the woman who, in a sense, started this dream become reality. Catherine McAuley always looked to the particular need of each place where she or her sisters went to minister. Here in Auburn, California, in 2014, a particular group in need is the elderly. McAuley Meadows will provide a safe and affordable place at this time when many elderly are at risk of being homeless. The mission of the Sisters of Mercy embraces all the works of mercy, and sheltering the homeless is one of the ways that we can recognize the face of Jesus in those in need. May this effort become a place where elderly men and women find a welcoming home and the services they need for a full life. Thank you.
Oh, you got the dollar? Okay, all right. I just tried to trade Judith the gift bag for the land, but she said she got $1 from us already, so the bag's a tip. Yeah, I wasn't here, but I do know that Sister Susan McCarthy and Sister Bridget McCarthy and Joe Venasio and so many other people played a huge role, along with Greg Sparks and Stephen Dawes from the Mercy staff, in all of that master planning work. And it's so easy when the building gets built to forget just how long these things take and how much work goes on. And in that regard, every one of these buildings, if you've ever been to an affordable housing event, much less a Mercy event, you know that there's this long list of folks that come up, and it's so many people get involved in this, but it almost always starts with a fabulous partner like the Sisters and a local government partner. We cannot do our work really at all if we don't have the support of local government. And it's my understanding that probably no local government's been more supportive and done more to help us build, particularly in this circumstance, than Auburn. It's just a fabulous relationship. And with that, I just want to bring up Mayor Powers of the City of Auburn.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Welcome to Auburn, everyone, for being here. And I know we've said thank you to the sisters. Where's Sister Bridget, though? Where is she? Is she here today? I just share your name, so hello. Were you named after the saint, like I'm told I was? And then they changed their mind later on in life. Thank you so much to all the partners. The City of Auburn, when this was brought forth to us, we've been working with the sisters and using their facilities for a lot of years. And when this came forward, it was a no-brainer that this is right for our community. And our planning department just wanted me to convey to you, the people who put all this together, how professional, how amazing you were to work with, and that your vision was something that they enjoyed every single day as they worked on this project. As did I. I believe I was a planning commissioner when it first came to us, and then later on the city council. What I really want to say is thank you. Thank you for helping our seniors. Seniors do not get enough attention, I think, throughout the whole United States. We need to do more. As a former member of Seniors First Board of Directors, we spend a lot of time trying to keep seniors independent and keep them in their homes as long as possible, or in a home like this, which is so enjoyable for them. So thank you for helping our seniors. I think this is a clear message that we need to continue to make sure that we keep seniors proud, we keep them happy, and we make sure that we respect all the things that they have done for us as they go into older age, because after all, these seniors have created the iPhone, the toaster oven, the microwave oven, the iPhone 5, the iPad, all of these people. And so just remember, keep seniors as a part of your life forever. Thank you very much, and thanks for being here.
So as Mayor Powers said, we had just phenomenal support from the City Council, the Planning Commission. I want to just mention 3 staff, Will Wong, Reg Murray, and Lisa, I apologize for butchering your last name, Hofrage, for all the tremendous support you gave us during this project. The staff and the sisters really appreciate all that you did. I'm going to, the other thing about these developments, particularly for seniors, and part of, I think, the vision that we share together is that, there are just very, very few places in the country where folks living on a fixed income can really make it work. And when people grow up in communities and they reach a certain age, then they discover that the housing market has shifted on them, and there really is no longer a space in their community for them. That's a particular form of disruption that's just terrible for families and for communities and really everything we stand for. So one of the really important things about this development, and sadly a resource that's not too available to us in the future, is the incredible support of the federal government in terms of the HUD 202 program that really enables us to serve seniors at extremely low incomes and further up. It's really a critical resource that made all the difference on this project in terms of who we can serve. We're really, really thankful to the HUD folks and everyone in DC for the support they've given us. And Susan, I don't want to butcher your last name either, but Susan Veazey is here to represent HUD and accept our thanks for their tremendous support.
Thank you. I was thinking, looking at Doug, this is a day when I really appreciate being a woman and I don't have to wear a coat. So anyway, forgive my note cards. I don't want to forget to leave anyone out, and I certainly don't want to ramble in this heat. So I'm very delighted to be here today representing the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and our new Secretary, Julian Castro. I would like to congratulate the project sponsor, Mercy Housing California, and also thank you, Doug, and your staff for the invitation to join you on this wonderful occasion. HUD is pleased to be able to contribute over $6 million in 202 supportive housing capital advance funds for the development of this project. Probably as important, if not more important, we are also providing a long-term commitment of operating subsidy, which is similar to the Section 8 program for 39 of the households. These operating funds guarantee the affordability for the residents, and they assure the owner sufficient income to meet their ongoing expenses. In addition to providing a significant housing resource, the development of McAuley Meadows also provided an economic stimulus, producing good jobs for hardworking members of the community who helped to build this beautiful building. Projects like these, as we know, require many years of planning and development and many sources of financing. We are so very fortunate to have a dedicated, mission-based partner like Mercy, who continues their decades-long tradition of providing affordable housing throughout the Sacramento region. Thank you for your diligence. Thank you also to the many other financial partners without whose support we would not be standing here today. I want to recognize Doug's leadership and the dedication of the board and staff of Mercy. I would also like to recognize my colleagues at HUD, Larry Ferguson, Bill Rogina, Kevin Hahn, and Jane Chang on our production team, Jim Myers, our construction coordinator, Carrison Wade, our inspector, and on our asset management side with me here today, Robin Thompson, who will continue to work with the staff at Mercy to help ensure the project's long-term success. Thank you again for inviting me, and congratulations to everyone on the completion of such a gorgeous and happily energy-efficient new development.
Susan did not take that bag. It's going to show up on her list of. Yeah, she's. Well, thank you, Susan, so much, and thank you for acknowledging your staff. I think somewhere when he retires, there's going to have to be a building named after Bill Regina, because he's such a constant source of help, and probably been involved in more Mercy buildings than just about anyone you could think of. So, thanks to all of you. Our partner on this, RCHC, is of course a critical part of this work. I mentioned earlier that we have some of the board members here from RCHC. And a large part of the tradition here for Mercy in Sacramento is that partnership. A key piece of funding that RCHC brought to the table was the home dollars that we received from the State Department of Housing and Community Development. And I want to bring up Tom Betancourt, who represents HCD. Tom? Oh, there you are. Okay.
I'm also fortunate not to have to wear a jacket. So I just wanted to congratulate you on really a fabulous project in my 30 years of working in housing, affordable housing. This is really one of the finest. It reminds me actually of a very nice hotel in Sacramento, just south of Sacramento, right, with a beautiful view, great amenities. We just wanted to thank our partners at RCHC and Mercy Housing for doing a fabulous job, as always, and on behalf of the staff who worked on this project. I also had nothing to do with the project, but I'd like to thank Laura Bateman and Albert Rowland from HCD who worked on the project, and Rich and Steve who they worked with as a team to get this fine project done. I just want to again thank you and congratulate you today.
You're going to decline? Okay. Oh, you're going to take it, but you're going to decline. Okay, right. Tom also did not take this back. So I mentioned earlier, HCD is just a huge part of the work that we do especially throughout the Sacramento region, where, there are parts of the state where there have traditionally been lots of redevelopment agencies, and that made a lot of difference in terms of local funding. But throughout the Sacramento Valley and throughout really all the rural communities that we work in, or semi-rural communities, it's really the HCD money that gets us going on these projects, because without it, we really don't have a place to start with. So thanks again to the great folks at HCD, particularly in the home section. It's once again that time to thank our fabulous lenders. We have an incredible relationship with John and the rest of the folks at Wells Fargo. I know Lori Saito's here and her son, who's on his way up to college, so we should all be very excited for Lori for that. In the best possible way. I mean, we're not saying she wants you gone at all. But no, we have a fabulous relationship with Wells Fargo. We do tons of work together. Wells has been there for us as a tremendous banking partner. When I first started at Mercy Housing, was in the midst of the redevelopment downturn, and we had projects falling apart and lenders struggling to stick with us. But Wells was not one of them, and they really have been with us through thick and thin. And John's just a fabulous partner, and I want to introduce him and bring him up. Thank you.
Good morning. My job's actually very easy, and it makes it a lot easier having a partnership with Mercy. We've known Mercy for over 20 years, and during that time, I think we've developed 1,500 units, 24 projects, so it's a very, very long standing relationship. Affordable housing is not easy. It's a very difficult development. It's a very difficult proposition, and it requires passion. So again, the job of a banker is a lot easier when you have passionate folks on the other end that are really inspired to develop something like McAuley Meadows. So again, I'm very, very fortunate to be a partner with Mercy and with all the other lending and financial institutions here as well. Again, I'd like to thank Lori Saito, who's been a Mercy relationship manager for pretty much the 20 years. So again, thank you very much.
So we should do all our events in this heat because, myself included, I've never been this succinct. John is always succinct, but I myself have not that skill. Another fabulous partner, for those of you that aren't familiar with affordable housing, and I know many of you have been to other Mercy events, but one of the strange things about how these buildings get built, if you're not used to it, is the tremendous importance of the federal low-income housing tax credit. And we often talk about sort of, well, what do your tax dollars do? This is an incredible example. Virtually everything that Mercy Housing touches in this country in terms of development and preservation at this point is done with low-income housing tax credits. And it's obscure to the rest of the world, but incredibly important to us, part of the tax code that enables private investors to come in and provide money in the form of low-income housing tax credit equity to make these buildings possible. And they are such a huge part of what makes this building possible. So if you see your congressperson anytime in the near future, you just remind them how important that source of funding is, along with the HUD 202 program. And I want to bring up, we have done a lot of work with our next speaker, Karen Smida. She's going to tell you more about that. But with Merit Community Capital Corporation in particular, which is just a fabulous support to the affordable housing industry. And I also want to bring her up, and she's the Director of Acquisitions for Merit. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't going to get personal with my anecdotes today, but when I was speaking with Doug earlier, he urged me to sort of talk with you guys about the beginning of my relationship with Mercy. I was the housing rep at HUD who, along with Sister Lillian, John Stewart, and the FHA Mortgage Insurance Program, turned Harkness Hospital, an old hospital in San Francisco, into Mercy Terrace. So it's lovely for me to be here today on another beautiful Mercy project. Merit also has a long relationship with Mercy. Merit's been around for 25 years, and one of our very first deals was a Mercy deal in the Valley. Maria, what was that? Was that Madison? Madison Bakersfield. So Mercy and Merit have had a long, fruitful relationship. We did our first 202 with Mercy in Alameda called Kent Gardens. So we love our partner. We think they do fabulous work, and our heart is with them. Our investors pool their money, like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, by the tax credits generated by these properties, and we get the fun of investing with great partners and seeing the wonderful units and the wonderful buildings that result. Thank you all very much for your work. Oh, and I get swag too. Do I get swag?
My list is not, my speaking points aren't exactly lined up with this. So I just want to make sure I haven't missed anyone. Okay, never has a Mercy event gone this slow. I mean, fast. For those of you that were at the 7th and H opening, I think we were just about starting at this stage in the process. I think that was like a 3-hour grand opening, so we couldn't do that today. Mercy doesn't always have philanthropic support for the buildings that we build. One of the important things about the way we're able to work is that we don't necessarily have to do fundraising in the traditional sense to do these projects. But in this particular case, we really did get fabulous support from the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation. They gave $200,000 to this project that really made a big difference in how the building was built. And we also had fabulous support from the Elliott Family Foundation that gave $50,000. So I just want to acknowledge both of them and their fabulous support. We're looking forward to much more work together, and those philanthropic dollars do, in many cases, enable us to do something we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. So thanks on that. All right, now we get to the development team and all the folks that really built this building and worked on it. I mentioned earlier RCHC and Mercy Housing California. There are just so many folks involved in this from the Mercy side. I just want to, for a second, just ask the folks that are on the Mercy or RCHC staff to just stand for a second. Or if you're standing, raise your hand. I want to call out a few folks, Stephen Dawes and Greg Sparks, who were involved in this very early on. Rich Sorolla, who deserves a special round of applause as the project manager. We have a fabulous resident service coordinator up here, Julie Calderwood. The people that really make these buildings perform year after year from the management group, Mercy Housing Management Group, Jennifer Sakin, Karen Morrow, Dave Hall, our new manager, Jeff Norman, and Ken White. I want to thank all of you. Wendy Saka, who many of you know back there hiding underneath the umbrella. I'm sure I'm going to leave somebody out here. I'm just looking through this list here. And, you know, just a special, for those of you that, many of you probably know Maria Cunha, who's in, where is she? Where'd she go? There she is. Recently elected as co-leader of the Mercy Associates, and I just think we want to acknowledge her. She does fabulous work, and she's a special bond with this group. The architect, Stephen mentioned to me earlier, Chris Lehman and Associates, and Lily, and oh God, I'm going to just skip your last name, Lily, because I'm going to blow it, but done fabulous work on this particular project. We really love the way they work and design seniors. Stephen mentioned to me earlier that they walked out of the Kent Gardens opening, which Karen mentioned earlier, which is just probably one of the most beautiful senior buildings you'll ever see, and immediately knew they wanted to work with Chris and team and asked them to work on this because it's just such an incredibly well done and so sensitive to the needs of seniors. So Chris and Lily, if you could just stand and take a round of applause. There we go. All right. We also have a fabulous relationship with Sunseri Construction. They've done a bunch of buildings for us, including Colonia San Martin, which is another really, really fabulous building. It has a little bit in common with this. I want to thank them. They're just, you know, from the staff you hear all the time, but what great partners they are from a general contractor, which aren't words that you always hear at the end of a project. Donnie Lieberman and Greg Creighton, Dave Christ, Bernard Keck, Eric Gordon, Cindy Lares, and Vicente Rosas. Thank you very much for building such a fabulous building. And our fabulous engineers from Cunningham Engineering, Dan Finocchio and Charles Krafka, are you here? Thank you for your fantastic work. I'm sure you're here. Oh, there they are. They're hiding underneath the umbrella. Okay. You know, one of the really nice things about Mercy openings is that at most of these openings, we do have the opportunity and the chance to hear from a resident about just exactly what it is that brought them here and what it means to have them here. I just met Donna Goodwin today. She's just a fabulous person, and she's agreed to spend a couple minutes to just sort of tell us a little bit about what this building means to her. So, Donna, where'd you go? There she is, okay. Yeah, well, you know, I was going to tell you more about Donna. I was going to give the Wikipedia entry, but I'm just going to go.
Thank you. My name is Donna Goodwin, and I am a happy, happy resident here. And I live in a beautiful mansion on a hill. I call it a castle on the hill. And first off, I'd like to start. I had to take notes because I don't speak in front of groups, and I'm a little nervous. But I'd like to start off by thanking all the people who have made this possible for my being here. I'd like everyone to know that even in my most difficult times, and I still have those, I remain grateful for my new home, my new beginning here at McAuley Meadows, and not one day goes by without my thanking all the supporters and the Sisters of Mercy and all of the builders and everybody that made it possible for me to be here. I will speak about the last several years of my life very briefly because I understand that I'm one of the reasons that these buildings are being built. I'm 64 years old. I became unemployed several years ago, and I was homeless. And, excuse me. I worked as a caregiver for most of my life, and found myself without transportation or a home or a way to find the job. I had gotten my car got rear-ended, and I had no transportation. And the few friends I had, I was very choosy about having. I found it very difficult to live on less money. I live on retirement and disability, and I still tried to work part-time. And I found myself homeless, alone, and terrified at the position I was in. I stayed with relatives on occasion and friends at other times. And when I was lucky enough to have a friend put me up for a night or two, I could do my laundry, take a shower, and eat a good meal. Other times, excuse me, I slept in bushes, churches that were open, and behind cars and pickups and buildings that were not being searched by the police all the time because I didn't want to get in trouble for being a vagrant. And I felt so hopeless. I was in a relationship with the person for a few months during that time, and there was a lot of violence. And my life was threatened several times by other people. Being on the streets is not a good thing for a woman, or any woman or child, or any person really, but especially a woman alone at 62, 63 years old. One day my friend called me and told me that she was moving out of her abandoned and condemned fourplex, and I could have that if I wanted it. And I took it gratefully, because it got me out of the river bottoms and out of the churches, which I appreciated very much. The churches had 4 walls and it was safe. And I talked to my God a lot during this period. And I stayed there. And the people in the community and her, she came and they painted the whole apartment for me because I was not capable of doing that. And another friend who is an exterminator came and exterminated the place 3 times to make sure I did not have infestations of bugs or mice or anything like that, because when I first got there it was like that. And he charged me not 1 cent, not 1 red cent. He did it out of the goodness of his heart. Well, one day I called the Meals on Wheels for some food, and they told me they no longer did that in Yuba City or Marysville, and they sent me to Sacramento. And when I called the Meals on Wheels in Sacramento, they wanted to hear my story, a little bit of it, and they said, no, we want you to call the Sisters of Mercy in Auburn right now. I called the Sisters of Mercy in Auburn, and I was told to get a hold of David Hall immediately. And so getting a hold of David Hall, I found out that they were having a drawing on these apartments. And I had never won anything in my life, never. And when he called me about 2 weeks or a month later, we did a lot of paperwork in between. And he called me and he said, "You were number 4 in the drawing." And I said, "Is this a joke?" Because I've never won anything. He said, "No, this is no joke. You want to come up and pick out your apartment?" And I said, "I'll be there tomorrow." And I was here the next day, and I picked out my apartment, and it became a reality. And I found out that not only do angels exist in heaven, angels exist right here on earth. And I had forgotten that for a while. I moved in probably January 5th or 6th, so I've been here a little longer than some of the others. But I look at the Sisters of Mercy every day, and I want to thank them with all my heart for directing me to David Hall. And all of you supporters and all of you that contribute to our being here, or my being here, I can't speak for anyone else, but I have a lovely home, and I'm safe, and I'm happy, and I'm not alone anymore. I want to thank you.
I don't do so well following the resident speakers. I get a little weepy, as folks now know about me. Thank you so much, Donna. That was a hard story to hear, but a beautiful story to hear, and it really is why we do this. So thank you. All right, I might take a sip of lemonade for a second here. Got to transition to something less emotional. I like the incredible solar PV system that I had forgotten to mention in the notes. This is has nothing to do with the beautiful comments that Donna made, but I just want to mention it because I forgot to. This building, which that we mentioned earlier, fabulous designers and fabulous general contractor, is likely to be LEED Gold certified, which means that among other things, it has just a fabulous energy system, a solar PV system on the roof that generates enough energy to cover a lot of the common area demand, and it's been situated on the hill in terms of breezes and solar access to really reduce as much as possible the energy needs of the building. And it really, I think, it looks fabulous, and it's going to be fabulous. And so thanks to everyone on the team for that fabulous work. So with that, we're really at the end, and we have a chance to bless this wonderful building. And with that, I want to bring up Sister Sheila Brown, who's the Director of Mission Leadership for the Sisters of Providence Health System, and played a fabulous role in getting this project started, which I'm sure she may mention.
When I was asked to do the blessing, I was told you're going to be the 8th speaker, so keep it short. But, listening to Donna's remark, I feel the blessing is almost redundant, because the blessing of this place are the 60 residents that are here and make it a sacred space and holy ground as well. So I'd like to acknowledge that as well. I was also asked to mention something about Sister Mary Monica Burns. So as we stand here on the sacred ground today, we cannot help, for those of us who go way back with Mercy Housing, but remember Sister Mary Monica Burns. Monica was instrumental in making our first Mercy Housing project in Sacramento a reality. I recall those days in the early 90s, yes, that was the last century, when plans were being made for what we now call St. Francis Terrace in Sacramento. Believe me, there was much opposition. Low-income housing was not popular to have in a neighborhood. And at the time, Mercy Housing had no track record in Sacramento. Put it any place except in my backyard was what we heard. Monica was a fearless advocate and unrelentingly dealt with city officials and neighbors until, as Monica always did, prevailed. I remember the long hours into the night when she attended neighborhood meetings. I wish she were here today, but I know her spirit hovers over us. Thanks, Sister Lillian and Jane Graff, for dedicating the terrace, courtyard, and community gardens to Monica. I can hear her say, I don't deserve it, but the plaque will read as follows. Mary Monica Burns, RSM, a member of the Sisters of Mercy, which was in the Auburn community, served as a housing developer for Mercy Housing in Sacramento. Sister Mary Monica played a vital role in assessing the housing needs of people of modest incomes in the Sacramento region, and was the first person to develop Mercy Housing affordable communities in the area. This beautiful outdoor terrace, courtyard, and community gardens are a living reminder of the wonderful dedication and service of Sister Mary Monica that she provided in our community, and most especially to low-income families, seniors, and peoples with special needs. Dedicated July 30th, 2014. So I believe the plaque is being put together as we speak and will be put in place at a later time. So the blessing. And now, O God, we ask for your special blessing as we gather here on this beautiful summer day in the foothills. We pause to give thanks and to remember. We are here to celebrate and to rejoice because of the many, many people who work together to transform a muddy field into a beautiful place of beauty and security which so many now call home. We give thanks for the generosity of individuals, families, businesses, federal, state, and city agencies, foundations, Wells Fargo, Sisters of Mercy, and of course, Mercy Housing. We pray for the builders of this exquisite space who first dug deep into the red earth to pour strong footings on which to lay the foundation. May all who live and come here continue to dig deep into the soil of God's love, so that all at McAuley Meadows are truly in a place of mercy, love, hospitality, and compassion. Encompass all its sides with the power of your protection, so that no harm will ever come near. May strong beams of trust, hope, and forgiveness rest firmly, so that it will never be shaken by the storms and weatherings of life. May all the walls be held in place by a sturdy framework of fidelity and welcome, so that all who come here will experience security and protection and will never experience estrangement or alienation. May sunlight fill its spaces, and may moonbeams and stars shine through the open windows and doors. May many breezes be allowed to dance through its rooms. May no violence ever enter here, and may words of gratitude, kindness, and encouragement be spoken often and naturally. May this space be a place of celebration, because hearts are filled with gratitude for the gift of each new day. May there always be music and laughter, joy and peace. Bless each doorway. May all who enter be treated with respect and hospitality. May the value of this place be measured in memories rather than in possessions. Bless our residents. May the warmth of the memories created here be a comfort and a shelter from the fears of the unknown. Let there be prayer here, prayer of praise and thanksgiving to the one who is always so generous and who watches over all who enter here. May blessing rest forever on the space and all who work, volunteer, and visit here. May each of us rejoice in the one who always guards our comings and our goings. May all of us gathered here today know that wherever we are is holy, that all our work is sacred, and that the Holy One is always with us. Amen.
So with that, we want to welcome you, give you a chance to take a tour. We have a little bit of lunch. I do want to thank Rick Sprague, Amy Bailey, Moses, and the others that put together this fabulous day, Maria, others that sort of put together this. If you get a chance to give them a word of thanks for making this wonderful day so special. So thank you, everyone, for joining us.